So traditionally you got a BW system, and then you also have BPC system. You know that, right? For a long time. You may call that as BPC as an application. It's an application. It's not a database. It doesn't hold any database, which is also part of your BW. I would say it's part of BW only. And you got BW system. It doesn't matter it's a HANA or not HANA. You got BW system, and then you also have BPC application running on the BW system. So all the data is going to be stored in the BW, even though you do everything in BPC application. Only Excel interface is going to be outside of the BW system, which doesn't hold any data. You may have Oracle database or anything. If you migrate this to HANA, it becomes HANA BPC, BW BPC, no change. So I can call this as a standard BPC model. This is standard BPC. You got ECC outside, already outside, and you are extracting the data from ECC. And putting into BW system, and data replication is happening here, and then actuals will be given to BPC, and the BPC will make the planning functions and whatever the work has to do, will do it and store the data back to BW. So you will have actual versus planned data in BW, and also BPC, sorry, consolidated data as well. BPC planning and as well as consolidation is happening here for all the ECC data. That is traditional, you know this. And recently they introduced something called, not recently, and also there are some clients in before, very long time ago or 4 years ago when I was working, there used to be a BW system when SAP did not purchase BPC with IP. So the planning used to be done in the BW. Before that IP, it used to be BPS. I don't want to go into the history further, but yeah, before IP it used to be BPS or business some other terms in old terminals. But understand from this, so it used to be BW and IP together for planning, only for planning. There was no consolidation tool. People used to have HFM mostly, but later SAP purchased BPC, and then they got planning, which was doing by IP, and consolidation, which was mainly done by HFM together in the BPC module. So then they started marketing the BPC application widely, and BPC functionalities are not ABAP; they are outside of ABAP, right? So BPC, whatever the actions done in BPC, I think Outlook. BPC is a product from Outlook. They have their own coding in VB macros for Excel, and then whatever the application is not basically not going to run in the BW or ABAP related or SAP related stack. So there is always used to be a big performance issues with BPC, but people like BPC because of the consolidation and planning functions. And then later they realized with HANA, they can do so much about planning and consolidation with ABAP layer, not with the BPC Outlook softs. I don't know what is the background language in the BPC, but it is not very well integrated into the HANA. They are trying to push down everything of BW ABAP objects into HANA, but at the same time they don't want to push the BPC objects to run on HANA. So they introduced something called Embedded BPC. So it's not embedded, it's embedded means it's a different term. It's not S4 embedded. Embedded BPC means it still is going to be in a separate BW application. Your S4 can be here, but you will be using IP pack, integrated planning pack, which is your planning functions with Fox Pro. And then they completely push down this to HANA. So your BW and IP pack are going to be running on the HANA system. And they still allowed the people to use standard BPC, who are really wanted to use standard BPC, which has got all the planning functions, everything used in the EPM. You know the EPM, right? EPM functions and all. That's an EPM layout which is given for the planning functions execution. It used to be EVDRE, then they migrated to EPM functions. So now what happened? They're saying if you are not using BW IP pack, you will not get the HANA performance. So better to use embedded BPC. But all the projects so far, all the 6 years, all the big clients already moved to standard BPC, where they have all their models, their cubes, everything, all their planning configurations running in EPM application, which is the Outlook Soft's application. And if they have to migrate it to embedded BPC, it's too much job for them, right? It's because the model is going to be, the cube part is okay, but the underlying planning functions, the analysis office, which consumes the copy, delete, everything has to be done in IP. So it's a too much, they have to basically redesign everything from standard to embedded BPC. They cannot really migrate from standard to be embedded BPC. That's not migration. So they have given two options. Use standard. If you are using standard, most likely they will go to the standard BPC only, even though they are in BPC 11 or 10.1, whatever the versions they are using. Right? But they are preferring to sell this product embedded BPC. If it is a really new application, planning application, they are saying use the IP pack, which is integrated planning. Use integrated planning and build your planning of workbooks in AO, analysis office, instead of, because they use the EPM add-in also in the AO. So your analysis office is going to be your planning application. But still people are using standard BPC because they can migrate from HANA, but they cannot really get into the embedded BPC model because of the models of the embedded BPC is basically on the IP, and there's a lot of training required. IP is used to be SAP's product, but recently all the BPC consultant have no clue on what is going to be happening in IP because of the aggregation layers. They don't know what is an aggregation level about, what does it do, data slices, the whole planning engine of RS plan. They don't have any clue about it. If you know about the RS plan, or because they all do everything in BPC application, which is a standalone application. So with that, there is a huge, this is the planning info provider, and you build aggregation levels, filters, planning functions, planning sequence, everything together in this place. But what those guys do, the standard BPC guys, they build data manager packages instead of planning sequence. For planning functions, they have data manager they have functions, and filters, they use the filters. For aggregation, they don't have aggregation level concept, but they have something else. But the model itself, if you see, the standard model is mainly for account based. So you cannot have multiple key figures in BPC model. You can only have one key figure, which is amount. But it is really a big challenge when you are working on sales planning, APO planning, and etc., because you will have a lot of different amounts, which is your sales amount, build amount, net amount. You may have to plan on all these amounts. But BPC is mainly targeted for the standard BPC I'm talking about, finance. So finance, you may have accounts, account-based planning. So you will have different currency types. All is going to be one key figure, but different characteristics. Account model. But in the logistics, you will have one. You don't have many characteristics, but you will have many key figures or models. So integrated planning is very strong, or embedded is very strong. I'm not saying very strong. It is the only option they have to do all the different planning for different key figures. On the other side, BPC is very good for only finance and they cannot do any planning in other applications. So what they did now in the embedded BPC, they have given option. Now they are able to do planning for logistics, APO, material management, production planning, everything, but also for finance. And they are improving their consolidation also in the embedded BPC. So everything is becoming in embedded BPC. So it's going to be the future. So if the people some point of time, if not today, they have to migrate it to embedded BPC some time. Okay, clear, right? This is all BW for HANA or BW as a separate entity. I'm not really, you still have ECC here or your ECC or SAP S4 system. See, don't worry about the navigations. Try and understand the concept of how SAP is evolving around. So, and later they introduced something called in S4 IBPF, Integrated Planning Business Planning Function, or I don't remember the full name of. So they introduced something in BW in S4 itself. Following me, right? So IBPF comes with BW IP pack. Okay, so it is going to be in S4 system. So which means you have embedded BW and IP pack is installed. IP pack means you get all the planning RS plan thing comes up when you install the IP pack. You get a planning sequence, planning functions, everything there. So that is, they introduced this one. See, too many things. IP first, then standard BPC, and then they have two options if they are working embedded BPC and standard BPC. So for embedded BPC, what is the advantage? You don't have to copy the BW cube data into another BPC cube, which is what we are currently doing in the standard. You will have to copy entire BW data into a planning cube. So you will have BWA, which is actuals, and BWP, which is plan. And then you may have to, combine these two together for doing the reporting on it, or multi-provider. If in case of embedded BPC, you will have one cube, right, which is going to be actuals cube, and then you don't need to load this actuals data. Sorry, I have to load the actuals data into BPC cube, which is going to be, I don't remember the naming convention, which is going to be I think slash, it starts with slash or something. Because you create a cube, you don't create a BPC cube directly. You will go to the BPC application and create a model, and background it creates some cube, right? So the model what you create in the BPC application is going to create another cube. So every day you have to load your BW actuals cube data into BPC model cube, which is the standard BPC cube. And then also you will have plan it, and then you write back to the planning queue. This is two-way process, but embedded BPC, you will have your BW actuals cube, and the planning engine is going to actually read this data from actual cube directly and then upload it in the planning cube. So there is no other actual cube for embedded BPC. You're following me, right? So data footprint is reduced. Only here you will have actuals, and then once you replicate these actuals to BW, and then the planning engine is going to access it. But in this standard, you're replicating here, and then again you're replicating here. 2 times you're replicating. So here in the embedded BPC, you avoided one replication by itself. And then they introduced something called IBPF, where your BW pack is also in S4 system. And then you still avoided this replication. That replication means loading. Okay. So 2 times loading and 1 time loading, and then no loading. Right. So benefited, right? A lot of time saved, a lot of data footprint is saved, a lot of things saved. But still there are some functionalities which are really to be improved. Let's say actuals, right? So actuals are actually to be part of the BW cube. It used to be, because you need to get the data into the BW actual cube. or you may use this cube as a virtual provider to access the data as I shown you just now. So it wasn't working fine, but there were a lot of issues they have come up with. So they introduced something called, they replaced, actually there is no option of IBPF now. They replaced it with BPC Optimized for HANA. So S4, in S4 system, now they are calling it BPC Optimized for HANA. So this is a predefined content, very it's an extension to IBPF with a lot of options. So if you are going to work in BPC Optimized HANA, it's the latest one. So you will, what are the technologies you will have to know? You will have to know the S4 tables, because this content is based on S4, which is ACDoc A, ACDoc P. You will have to know this. You have to good functional understanding on what transformations changed in S4. Second, you need to understand a little bit of BW, because you're working on BW things. You also know more on integrated planning with IPAC, RS plan, aggregation levels, lot of all the planning, Fox Pro, above function modules to call everything, and etc. And database procedures also can be called in IPPAC now. That's a huge thing. And then lastly, you also need to understand calculation views, which is only in HANA modeler will understand. This is the difficult part. And then finally, you need analysis for Office for doing the planning thing and all. See, S4, one thing, BW, IP pack, calculation views is for HANA views, and analysis. It's like a whole bunch of things, right? Who will know all these things together? It's really impossible. So it's very hard to get a very good consultant in S4 HANA right now. Oh, sorry, not in S4 HANA, S4 BPC Optimized for HANA. Really very hard, because the person has, see, some people who are good in BPC, they will not know what is IP about, right? So they have no clue on how the IP works. The people who had IP experience, they have no clue on BPC. If they have both, like a BW person, they have no clue on calculation view, which is HANA modeler stuff. If all these things together also technically advanced, the people have to understand how the S4 HANA function is. Anyway, it's functional person side, but you will have to understand a little bit of how the S4 HANA works. So that's the background really required, and very less projects currently working on BPC Optimized for HANA, but it's a very niche market you can really pitch into, because really no people out there with these skills. So since I have got some basic understanding of different things together, I'm going to spend few minutes of time on explaining how the model is going to work on BPC Optimized for HANA. I am not really getting into the embedded BPC, standard BPC, which are outside of your ECC system, S4 system. Since my topic here is on S4 HANA, I'm talking only S4 HANA. Okay, so that is the BPC Optimized for HANA. Let's see, any questions? Yeah, it's going to start the, I have a simple document by this guy. I like this, it helped me very much in the implementation when I was working, little bit on optimized content. This guy is Bowen, is from SAP. How to populate value into SAP table at .p. This is, I'll come to it. So this is the model. I think you may not be seeing it really good. I will increase it to, so you can see this is the model of optimized for HANA. So you got ERP table, actual data. Can you see it is ACDoc A? That's the new table. So it's going to contain every, or it is replacing every, table of BSEC, controlling finance and controlling all the tables, universal ledger. Yeah. They took a lot of time to build this ACDoc A ledger. It's simplified. So you got one table, ACDoc here, for all your actuals to replace BSEC, BKPF, all the base functional tables, and also controlling finance and controlling tables. And then you got a HANA view created by SAP on top of that particular table, this ready-made content. When you install the content, you all automatically get this one. And then they given a virtual provider, which is SFIN v01. You got to see this one, right? SFIN v /ERP / SFIN v01. Let me find that in my object. So I'm going to find, it's going to be in the financial SFIN. What was my object name? SFIN.v01. It's a virtual object, right? So if I go and display the data properties for this one, so virtual cube, it's ready-made. It's going to get activated in your computer, in your system, as soon as you applied a node. There is an SAP node which gives clear instructions on what to be done to get the BPC optimized content in your S4HANA. It's only for S4HANA. You cannot implement this whole thing in BW for HANA, right? That's the biggest difference. So if I go back to this table, the BPC optimized for HANA is only given in S4. This BPC in BW for HANA is different. Either you will have standard model or embedded model. The optimized content only in S4 HANA. Okay. So very clear instructions given with SAP node. So let me go into my object. So I go into more and then environment, no, extras. Always get confused with this. This is the new GUI. Info provider properties or information. I'm going to choose type attributes. So you can see virtual provider based on HANA model. What is my HANA model? It's the information model, which is a calculation view. So if I go and find this particular calculation view, this in the SAP ERP SFIN COPL, I should be able to see that. So how do I go? I go into my database. This is a database object. Again, it's not an ABAP object. You have to go into the database. So it's mixed. It's too many things you are touching. So if you need any customization to do, you need to be a good modeler. So that's why the functional consultants, the BPC consultants are now really struggling in S4 optimized content because they have no clue on the calculation views, no clue on the integrated planning aggregation levels. All are, so if I go to, if you know the modeling, see one thing, whatever you do in HANA, whatever the topics I covered, it will be touching in somewhere else. It's not only to that particular thing. So if you understand that one, it will be really good. So I'm trying to explain the whole thing. So it is sap.erp, sap.erp.sfin.copl. So I got PL. So I can see calculation views, 42 calculation views they have given. This is all standard content they are improving. Okay, only for BPC. They are not improving the live calculation view content for other analytics, S4 analytics. Right? They are S4 analytics purpose, they are improving the content in CDS views. So confused, I don't know, it's too many things, but try to be on point. So they have given this calculation views only for the BPC part. So they are not giving any calculation views for cost center reporting or financial reporting to use it in Fiori app or anything traditional applications. Yeah. So just get into the ACDoc here, which is fco.c.ibp.acdoc here. If I open this calculation view, You see ACDoc A and then ledger reference. These two both are owned by ABAP schema. So then you join them, right, and reference number, and then do the aggregation. So this is going to be, this view is going to be the data source to my virtual provider. In my previous scenario, I've used a class or method as a data source to my virtual info provider. In another scenario, I may use my CDS view as an info source, as a data source to my virtual. It depends, huge different scenarios everywhere. So it is all how do you use it is what it matters. So okay, so clear, right? So this is done. Now you got the virtual provider, and then you got a multi-provider SFIN M01. Okay, for master data you got ERP tables and ERP HANA views. They're all going to be here for master data, material group, partner. They are all now part of calculation views because they don't want to persist this data. Directly you can access the database table as part of the calculation view, and then info objects are going to be virtual info objects. They are not going to physically store their data. Okay, and then you will have a multi-provider, and on top of that BEX query for just for the reporting. And then you also have aggregation levels created on top of this virtual this multi-provider. Here, see, how can you create a virtual provider? Only if you have a real-time info provider, right? So you cannot have a multi planning query on any other cube. It has to be a real-time info provider. So for that purpose, they have given another info provider, sfin.v20, which is going to be a virtual provider which can access the retraction purpose, right? Right. So this is going to be a real-time info. So this multi-provider is going to access both actual as well as plan. So if I display you V20, this one is V20. So if I go into V20, plan data, this is going to be plan data. So I'm not going to get any plan data from my source, ACDoc-P. You understand, right? So I'm going to write it back to ACDoc-P first, and then once ACDoc-P is there, and then it is able to get it back. So my multi-provider, which got on M01, has got so many aggregation levels. You can see these are all aggregation levels: activity planning, cost center simulation. These are all the symbols for aggregation levels built in RS plan transaction. So based on these aggregation levels, you will be able to create a planning functions. It's all done. Planning functions done. You got workbooks, so many workbooks already given by SAP. I'll be able to show you those workbooks also, which are created based on these plan aggregation levels, which are on top of this multi-provider. Yeah, and then you got BEX query, and then you got analysis for office. So in this analysis for office, you access this and actuals data, and then you do the planning. These are the standard workbooks which are given: cost center planning on periods. You just give them to the business user, and he will execute the planning functions, and then those plan data will be saved back to ACDoc-P table. Right? So that is how the planning data written back to ACDoc. This is the whole model, and then this is all ERP/SFIN content is given by SAP. So you got input ready queries, you got input ready queries, right, where the customer can input the data directly for plan values, and then it's whole bunch of theory involved or in integrated planning how to work on input ready query. I'm not going to discuss anything. So there are some documentation I have published very earlier times. I can share that one. So the aggregation level, the input ready query, you have to know these ones, then you should be able to work on optimized S4 HANA planning, and then you will be able to consume these workbooks in the reporting. So one layer is HANA views, virtual layer. This is your cube, BW objects, and this layer is aggregation layer plus BW IP pack. BW IP pack, you need to install the integrated planning pack. For this one, you need to understand the AO. So you understand that all these things covered here. So that is how you're going to work in BPC optimized for HANA and S for analytics. See, BPC is also analytics. You're going to do consolidated analytics. You also have consolidation happening here in the BPC S4 itself. So what does it mean? No replication, everything directly from this table until to the consolidation. Every real time, that is called real time consolidation. Is it really required to do the real time consolidation? Yes or no? Some clients they wanted to do real time consolidation without doing the data replication to that BW system and then do another approach to for real time planning, real time consolidation is possible with this one. So this is called real time planning. Real time planning means no replication, no lag between your transaction. Usually planning is done a month late. So I don't think real time planning and real time consolidation is a big requirement for business users. But some people, because you will do the planning for the future months and you will re-plan it for the last months. So it is not very urgent to the planning on the yesterday's data. But still SAP is giving real-time plan is positioning as a real-time planning. So yeah, some clients may go for it, but this is going to be for our BPC 10.1 or BPC 11 version as a standalone, and BW4 HANA is going to be there. It's BW4 HANA. Clear? That's about BPC optimized for HANA. You may explore a little bit more into this one, or yeah, if you have an S4 system with a BPC install or that note install, you will be able to see all these workbooks in our AO and all. It's very straightforward if you understand the BPC and IP. That's about the S4 HANA analytics. Okay, stopping it.